All right, shifting gears now to the NFC. The final two teams standing in the NFC are the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Brock Purdy, or more commonly known as Mr. Irrelevant, has led the 49ers to 7 consecutive wins as a starter to extend San Francisco's 12-game winning streak. But they do have a tough battle ahead of them as they head to Philadelphia to face the number 1 seed Eagles. Jalen Hurts has been spectacular for the Eagles this season and is just 1 win away from the Super Bowl. Then, should Brock Purdy be the future starter in San Francisco if he wins on Sunday?
I think you have to base it on how he plays. Like you said, even if he wins, I think you have to base it on how he plays, because if we're just being brutally honest, he was a game manager last Sunday. He was not great. He didn't do anything to lose them the game, which, by the way, last week I said Dak Prescott won't do something to lose the Cowboys the game. Boy, was I wrong there.
You were very wrong.
I thought he would play at least better than he did.
That was awful.
Back to Purdy. He didn't do anything to lose the game, but he didn't really, he was 214 yards, 65% completion percentage, no touchdowns, no picks. That is game manager written all over it. I watched Teddy Bridgewater do it with my Vikings for years. I know what it looks like. And I would say this. If he plays similar, maybe slightly worse for the 49ers, even if they win and beat the Eagles, I think you should go into next season with, at the very least, a quarterback competition between him and Lance. Take them both into camp. You're going to give them the reps and see who looks better and is able to elevate this offense. The reason I say that is because with players getting older, with contracts coming up, they're going to have to pay Bosa here soon. I don't know if you can bank on this 49ers defense being this good forever. How many times are you going to go into a game and hold a very good Cowboys offense to just 12 points and the 1 touchdown that they scored? Yeah, they scored 1 touchdown. The total 12 was throwing me off there for a second, but thank you, Brett Maher, for making me have to do quick math in my head. 1 touchdown that Dallas scored was good enough for the Purdy-led offense to also score 1 touchdown and win the game. Same thing could happen again this weekend if they're a game manager where maybe the 49ers only score 1 or 2 touchdowns, but their defense holds the Eagles. I don't know if you can bank on the defense playing that incredible, which they have been the last couple of years. Can you bank on that for the next couple of seasons? And do you want to have to go into that thinking potentially if you roll with Purdy, he may not be his best against elite defenses, and we're really going to have to rely on our defense. So that's why my thinking is, at the very least, you give it a competition. That way, if Lance comes in with similar knowledge of the scheme and really lights it up in camp and in preseason and shows the ability to elevate with the mobility and the deep ball that Purdy sometimes has but sometimes maybe doesn't have, then I think you have to at least give him a shot. Where I would say, though, if Purdy just absolutely rips up an incredible Eagles defense, then yeah, you're rolling with Purdy. I don't think you can take him out of the lineup.
Okay, well, a couple of things. I actually think I get your argument, and I think it's actually a very good argument. But before last weekend, when was Brock Purdy ever tested necessarily?
Tested in terms of a close game, it was the Raiders game, but that defense isn't scary.
We're talking about a bad Raiders defense. Okay, that's terrible.
It's not a test. So
exactly.
That was
so besides
probably
the
it.
Dallas Cowboys, Micah Parsons, and you got Armstrong, and you got DeMarcus Lawrence, and obviously you got Trayvon Diggs in the secondary. He's never really been tested, and this weekend he is going to be tested by those edge rushers, and that secondary is loaded. So you're going to see C.J. Gardner-Johnson all over the place. You're going to see James Bradbury. You're going to see Darius Slay. They're going to have a field day in that secondary, and we're going to see, by the way, if Brock Purdy is going to dare to throw that football down there, because if you really think about it, the 49ers truly do not have a true deep threat. I do not consider Deebo Samuel a true deep threat, and I don't consider Brandon Ayuk a true deep threat. So obviously, we understand that Brock Purdy, what he has done is incredible, and what he's done to get to this far in the playoffs. I congratulate him. He's done everything not to screw up, okay? But when it comes to the 49ers, what Kyle Shanahan is asking Brock Purdy to do is play it safe, short to mid-range passes, and have Deebo Samuel, have George Kittle, have Brandon Ayuk, even Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. Throw a nice pass and let them rack up those yards per catch. That is what he's asking to do. You look at this offense, right? You've got Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Obviously, you got Elijah Mitchell back there. That's a pretty good offense, combined with a good offensive line, combined with a good defense. You're relying on a solid running game to take the pressure off of Brock Purdy. And when in doubt, well, guess what? You're going to count on the defense, and you'll live another day, right? The number one defense will take care of the rest of it. I understand that. But at the end of the day, Brock Purdy did nothing last weekend that made me say, That is a franchise quarterback. I mean, you look at that defense, right? You got Fred Warner, you got Nick Bosa, you got Jimmy Ward, Dre Greenlaw. I mean, all these names. Eric Armstead.
Goes on and on.
It goes on and on. Hufanga's another one. Tashawn Gibson. I mean, all of these names. Brock Purdy, if he makes a mistake, when in doubt, I got my defense to count on. However, it's not like Brock Purdy, when he throws the football down past 10 yards, if you look at the Seattle game and even last week, Ben, those passes are not necessarily accurate, and they're often behind the receiver. That eventually is going to get intercepted. Mm-hmm. And isn't this the same team that traded up to get Trey Lance? You may want to give Trey Lance a look before giving up. Okay? Jimmy Garoppolo, I understand if he's out the door, that's totally fine. You'll probably be able to get some compensation for him. But at the end of the day, Brock Purdy, if somebody actually wants to give this man a ton of money, boy, you've never heard of a Kyle Shanahan offense because he is a product of the Kyle Shanahan offense. Matt Ryan was clearly. Take it away, Justin.
Yeah, he is for sure. And Ben, I totally agree. I think Brock Purdy deserves to be considered the starting quarterback when it comes to, the offseason, when possibly he has a ring around his finger and
That's ending this weekend. It's over. It's over.
I'll say too, even if they win and he plays average, and I'll let you go in a second, Justin. If winning he plays average, that I would still consider it. If he wins the Super Bowl, even if he plays average, it's like, how can you pull a Super Bowl winning quarterback?
Yeah, that's really hard to do.
Yeah, even if he's game manager, I think that they would probably be like, well, give him an offseason, take his game to another level, and he'll be the starter.
But when he faces pressure, the problem is he freaks out. He doesn't know what to do. And the difference between this game that we're about to see is the quarterback. Jalen Hurts is mobile, and he's able to escape pressure and collect first downs with his legs. Brock Purdy's not. And that's going to be the difference in this game.
Yeah, I think that would be a big difference. I think the 49ers offense, though, is going to find a way to keep Brock Purdy upright, though, especially with how good of an offensive line they have. And they've only been giving up 31 sacks now on the season compared to the Eagles, who have given up 44. So right now, the Eagles are in the higher, quartile of giving up, 44 sacks when the Niners have only given up 31. So if they can find a way, like you were saying, Luca, Hurts is going to be explosive with his legs. The Niners are going to have to find a way to protect Purdy. But I feel like it's going to come down to, the run game for the 49ers, really. I don't think Brock Purdy is going to have to do too much. All he's going to have to do is just be a game manager like he has been doing. And if they win this game, hey, I would love to wear a Brock Purdy jersey Sunday when they play in the Super Bowl because this man deserves his big money, and he has shown why.
Deserves big money.
Yeah,
What?
if he wins this game and gets them to the Super Bowl at least.
Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. Look what he is now.
Yeah, but Brock Purdy ain't no Nick Foles. He ain't going to fall off after one season. I feel like this kid's got a promising future, especially the last pick in the draft coming from Iowa State. Like, ooh. This kid is something special, and hey, look out. You never know. We might be saying, in 2 or 3 years from now, Brock Purdy deserves to be on the new Mount Rushmore with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, man. I got a question for you. I got a question for you. That Eagles Super Bowl that year where Carson Wentz went 11-2 went down, are you trying to tell me that Nick Foles would be able to go 11-2 as well?
Yeah, I honestly think he could have. With Doug Peterson as the coach? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
because Doug Peterson is just like Kyle Shanahan, They both are great offensive, scheming. Look at Trevor Lawrence.
Was a product
Look what happened with Trevor Lawrence when he had Urban Meyer last year. And
that is a
for a couple games, and then
you cannot compare that. That's apples to oranges. That's not even apples to apples what you just compared.
I was going to say I'm not the biggest Nick Foles fan, but I would say I think you had given Foles that entire. I think that roster was so incredible, and Peterson was and coaching is off that season. I think Foles could have maybe got them. Maybe they'll get 11 wins with Carson Wentz like they did, but I think Foles gets them 9 because Foles played the next year too and led them into the playoffs. He led them right into Soldier Field and ripped the playoff game away from the Bears fans.
And if we had a kicker, would have made that kick.
Oh my! I love how everybody thinks that's the only reason they lost that game. It's not the only reason, but that's a different story for a different day.